Hello Cherries fans and welcome to this match day preview. It is match day and already we've hit the pub. We're not really. This was recorded of course on Tuesday, but look, of course our preview content that we had originally has gone out the window now. It's gone because of course yesterday the news was announced, Tom, that Scott Parker is no longer at the football club anymore.
I know. A bit of a whirlwind, wasn't it? Bit of a whirlwind yesterday, but we have got a football match to try and concentrate on. So let's hope we get that siege mentality back now. And I think it was we've spoken about it enough, but I think it was the right thing to do, and I'm relieved.
Could be a huge atmosphere. It's a big match anyway. It was always going to be a big game for us, Tigz. But now I think there's almost, dare I say it, a weight off our shoulders a little bit.
Through adversity we come together, surely. That's always been the case, isn't it? So yeah, probably a weight off our shoulders. It felt like if something didn't happen, it was just going to rumble. Did we want that kind of uncertainty rumbling through transfer deadline day? Probably not, no. So I'm kind of glad that's over. But you know, look, you can look at it from there's so many angles, and we have already, but let's be honest, he wasn't happy, we weren't happy, this done.
It is done. And we have the visit of Wolves, a match that's televised. It's on BT Sport. Fortunately, for those inside the UK, the 9-0 battering of Liverpool was not available due to the Saturday 3 p.m. blackout, but this one will be. However, we're anticipating a raucous atmosphere and we're going to be getting behind the boys because we're all with you, lads. It's a huge game. We know it, you know it, and it's a good chance to get 3 points. As a player, how do you reckon you mentally react to your manager getting the boot? Because from what I understand, it's Scott Parker and it's all of his team. Therefore, that means that Gary O'Neill is going to be in charge, and they even changed the AFCB.co.uk website pretty quickly.
Yeah, they got rid of them quickly. I think it was 4 in total, wasn't it, including Parker, that have gone. I think if you're a player, I think it's probably all on an individual basis as well, with the relationship with the coach. But I think ultimately, without being in the dressing room and knowing the players, the way, as we all know, he's been coming out and saying they're not good enough, and the lack of confidence that we've seen in the last few games, I'd like to think they would also be relieved and think, I ain't got that weighing me down anymore. I can go out there and express myself, and I think the atmosphere will be better. And Tigz alluded to it, but the siege mentality, that backs to the wall stuff that has always served us pretty well. I like being the underdog, and I just think that we've, as the powers that be at the top have showed, that we thrive off that togetherness, and that's what this club's all about. That is the ethos of the football club. So I think it's a good thing, and I'm certainly going into the game with more confidence than I had before the announcement.
What songs are we going to sing, Tigz? Flying High Up in the Sky?
Yeah.
Boscombe back of the net?
Yeah.
We've not got Scotty Parker. He didn't have a clue what we need.
Yeah, it's a really tricky one, isn't it? Like, I don't know. And, you know, we won't talk about that too much, but there are names swirling around already, and there'll be names coming out of the woodwork, left, right and centre.
Out the woodwork or the woodgate?
Hey, straight out the gate there, yeah. But it'd be interesting to see how we react to it, how the players react to it, and who stood there next to Gary O'Neill as well. You know, who that team.
What's this Norwegian guy that I've heard being linked?
What a manager! Always rated him.
Who is it?
Yeah, what did he before?
Knutson.
Okay.
Bodo Glimt manager.
Yeah.
And I know I think they beat Jose Mourinho's Roma like 6-7-1 or something ridiculous last season. He's an upcoming manager that's obviously doing really well, but let's not be silly, I don't know him.
What happens if and when he gets released, Tigz? What's the headline going to be?
Nutsack.
Oh god,
we are so juvenile. Yeah, I absolutely love it.
But it will be, going into that, it will be interesting because we've literally sacked our manager. The next day we got a game. Day after's deadline day. Yeah. Like that for me, thinks they weren't planning to sack him. It's obviously all come to a head at some point, hasn't it? With what he's been saying, my opinion is probably that they've had a word with him about the stuff he's been saying and said, look, are we on the same page here or what? And Parker's maybe said, no, I want this, I want that. Well, you ain't getting that, and it's come to a head and off you go.
It's really interesting actually that, Tom, because if let's say Gary O'Neill will have a crack by having a game, so he might be throwing his hat into the ring, but let's assume it's not Gary O'Neill. Whichever manager then comes in needs to be confident in what Richard Hughes has done in terms of his ideas in terms of recruitment, and what Neil Blake's done on the telephone to get the right kind of money for things. So, also, will people be exiting now that we thought were exiting?
Yeah, Dembele, for example, he's suddenly
looked like he's
Lowe looked like he might be on the verge of leaving because Parker wanted more room in the squad, or will it be? This is what you got.
And if there is a change of heart by players like Sariki, that indicates where the problem maybe was in the first place. So yeah, interesting. You may have noticed, you may have heard from the echoey acoustics here that we're in a different location. Look, we're on location with all our preview shows this season, and this time round we're at a pre-match pub which is very welcoming to both home and away fans. Look, if you're a home fan, you've probably been to the Cricketers. It's in Windham Road. And it's been a pub that's been synonymous with AFC Bournemouth pre-matches for years and years and years, Tom.
Yeah, I've been here many times before a game, and as you say now, welcome away fans as well. We've had a good mix in here before, but yeah, not too far a walk to the stadium, so it's ideal really. And do a bit of grub as well, don't they, before the game?
Yeah.
So everything you want really, and they always have the early kick-off on or whatever. So really nice pub, and they've done it up a little bit recently as well.
And they're still doing it as well, and
really
it's nice to hear that they'll be doing Sunday lunches as well soon. But yeah, food on a match day. 15-minute walk, 10 if you've got a pace on you, and there's a few parking spots outside, but also a redone outside area as well. So if you like a drink or your food outside, I don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, but if it's all right, then you can go there as well. So,
if you want to get there in 5 minutes, you can hop on your bike a bit like Parker.
Hey, love it from you. So look, this preview show is going to be split into 4 parts. What we think about Wolves. Also, we find out a little bit about what they think about us in the fixture. Their opinions may be changing after what happened today. We'll find out. Also, we're going to find out our predictions in terms of the teams. Tom's going to predict both sides. Good luck with that, mate. And also, we need to do our housekeeping as well in terms of injuries. Do a bit of a roll call for both us and them. Wolves. When you think of Wolves as a club, I think of a team that is a Premier League sized side, one that at the moment won't ever go down but won't ever do anything in Europe either. They just seem to be content in their position at the moment. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I think if I went and had to write down kind of 20 teams that make me think of Premier League, so I wouldn't put ourselves in it obviously. I think Wolves would be in that top 20, I would say, even though they've had a bit of championship football, and I think they even dropped League One for a bit. But yeah, good club, hard to break down. But yeah, most of the time when I think of Wolves, I think of big dogs, to be honest. But no, nice club. Never had any problems. We don't have that many links with them. I was thinking this, Tigz. No. I could think of Sermon had a brief spell, but I think it was very brief, wasn't it, of Wolves?
That. Yeah, okay.
Andrew Sermon. And then James Henry, if you remember him. Yeah. And Scott Goldborn, who I think they were both Reading, Bournemouth Wolves.
They were.
But apart from that, I can't think of many links with us and Wolves. I do remember thinking that promotion season we had first time round, we'd done a double on Wolves, and they were both pivotal in our promotion, I felt. But I've got nothing against Wolves, quite like their kits. I've always thought they've had nice kits.
Lovely big stadium as well.
Yeah, nice model.
Really nice.
I think they're a club that have got a bit of money behind the scenes, and there were rumours, whether they're still doing it or not, the redevelopment of Molineux, and I've seen some of the CGI images of it, and it looks incredible what they want to do, and they're certainly a club that's going in the right direction. They've got a big fan base. They've got a fan base that has also been very vocal on Twitter when it comes to AFC Bournemouth as well, because every so often we play these clubs where we have these little Twitter spats with, and they're one of them.
Oh, really?
There was one fan in particular, I think, called Kate, that always wound us up so much. Fair play, Kate. You did a good job, and no doubt you'll be doing the same over the next few days or so. But and I think a lot of it was probably born out of frustration because they were in the Championship for quite a while.
Yeah, too long, really.
Little old Bournemouth came along, and we got promoted at the second time of asking, and then we stayed in the Premier League.
Benicophobia thing as well.
Yeah, 5 years. That's a good link. I
forgot about that. But yeah, he kind of left them for us and then left us for them, and it was all a bit weird, wasn't it? And I think,
very weird.
there was a bit of. I think that started a bit of that kind of Twitter banter, beef, whatever you want to call it. But I don't really mind Wolves. Don't really mind Wolves whatsoever. But I know it'll be a tough game. Put it that way.
Yeah. So Bruno Lage is Portuguese, and most of his side seem to be Portuguese. I mean, they've signed a number of players. Look, last season they finished 10th. So far in the summer transfer window, Wolves have signed 4 players. The most expensive one, club record, Nunes. Sporting Lisbon, £42 million there, but also they've signed Guedes as well, £27.5 million from Valencia as well. Is it Valencia? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I like to keep it to the. Chris Waddle.
Also, centre back Nathan Collins as well, signed from Burnley as well for 20 million plus, and also Hwang Hee-shan as well, who's been on loan, signed a permanent deal of around £14 million from Leipzig. But I've watched a number of their games this season, Tom. I think the first one was at Spurs, wasn't it, at White Hart Lane, which was a lunchtime fixture.
Yes.
And it's weird, like I said on the Second Look show the other day, like their league position doesn't really seem indicative of how they've done. They seem to have really tight games, but they don't seem all over the place. They'll never lose matches by big margins, and they've always been in the matches that they've played.
Yeah, I think they started the season against Leeds at Leeds, and they took the lead and lost it, and Leeds are doing really well this season, so that's no mean feat really. And I thought that Tottenham game, they were well in it, could have easily nicked a point. Harry Kane does what Harry Kane does, and that cost them. But very unlucky against, even though Newcastle weren't the point, it was a 90th minute equaliser, so they nearly got a win there as well. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying there. They all seem to be in games. I don't see them scoring a hatful, which is famous last words after we just let in 9. But I always see them being solid. And a lot of, when you do like predictions like Super 6 stuff, I tend to go like 1-0 either way or 1-1 with Wolves. Tend to be that sort of team. I don't feel like they'll be going down or in too much of a scrap. I think they've got a bit too much quality, but at this time when we're playing them, even with our fixtures and results, we're above them, which seems bizarre. Like you say, it feels like they're better than where they currently are, so it'd be a tough one.
They're solid, aren't they? Yeah. That's what I think. They're solid, generally solid, but it doesn't mean that they can't be got at. It's really interesting, like previous to what's happened with our club recently, I saw a lot of Wolves fans, in response to us losing 9-0, still not feeling very confident about coming to Bournemouth because their season has not gone the way that they expect it to. So they're like, you've just lost 9-0, well, we probably won't be able to beat you. There's quite a few of them. But with recent things going on at our football club, I don't know how that's probably affected the look of things. It feels a little bit like the Villa game in a way, I know Wolves fans won't like me comparing them to Villa, but it feels a little bit like that, doesn't it? It's kind of like, we're not expecting anything. They should be expecting a lot more, Don't know.
What do you so are they okay? In the Premier League, you get clubs that you don't really like, and ones that you do quite like. Where do they sit on the likability factor for you, mate? Or are you a bit nonplussed when you hear the name Wolves?
I quite like them, but then I remember them being lower down the leagues, and I think that plays into it for me. It always does. I just feel like, I've just seen them come up. I've seen them come up 3 leagues to get where they're getting, and they've continued to improve season on season. And they've let some good players go, but you still don't think that they're going to be in any kind of trouble. So I like them. I do like them because I think they're doing things the right way, and I think they belong where they are.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they're always that team that I feel could either be, you could predict them at the start of the season to be a surprise package and knock on the Europe door, but they could also be a surprise package of, could they get drawn into it? They're on that, you mentioned it earlier, they're on that tier. But yeah, I don't mind Wolves, got no real problem with Wolves, to be honest. They seem like a decent football club. Always like their kits as well.
Okay, so let's find out what they think about the fixture and what they think about us.
It's a massive game in some ways, so early in the season for both clubs, the 5th match in. Wolves obviously winless. Bournemouth coming on the back of a 9-0 drubbing away to Liverpool at Anfield. And today, Bournemouth have announced the parting of the ways from their manager, Scott Parker, who got them promoted. Some people might say, 4 games in, that's a bit early. I don't think it's anything to do with a 9-0 drubbing. Scott Parker seems to have been saying for a little while that the team's not good enough for the Premier League. There's obviously some behind the scenes stuff in terms of the transfer and the investment, and I think it's probably got more to do with that than just the fact that they've lost. Obviously losing 9-0 is not great, and going into this game as a Wolves fan, I was thinking, playing Bournemouth off the back of they've lost 9-0, teams will get a reaction, and now they've sacked their manager as well, and it just makes it all the more difficult for Wolves in a game, really, which I wouldn't say it's a must-win, but we really have to win this and get 3 points and get our season up and running.
Always interesting to hear what Wolves fans have got to say, and look, check out the channel below in the description. You can watch more of their great content. All right, we need to go through a bit of housekeeping then in AFCB team news. We don't know whether Lloyd Kelly's going to be available. Obviously, he was missing for the Liverpool game, but will he be back for this one? We all hope he will be. We lost Ben Pearson through injury 5 minutes on after coming on as a substitute, so we don't know whether he's going to be available yet either. Of course, we've got the perennial injured, including Junior Stanislas and all them lot. Ryan Fredericks isn't quite ready yet. Rothwell as well. And you know, when they are back, it'll be interesting to see how they do. But as far as we're concerned, that's our team news. But for Wolves, no new injuries have been reported. I think they took 1 or 2 knocks in the game against Newcastle United. But Willy Bolly though, what happened to him, mate?
I think I heard that he was picked for the squad.
Yeah.
Didn't turn up. Picked for the bench, and then since then it looks like he's virtually going to, guess, Nottingham Forest.
No.
They need a bit more depth.
They do. They're struggling with signings.
Good centre half, to be fair, but yeah, it looks like he's going to be going there, or definitely leaving Wolves anyway. But to be fair, they lost Cody as well, so there's a little bit of a development there at the defensively for Wolves. But I think Collins has been a good signing from Burnley for him, so I think they're happy.
They've got players returning as well, Tom.
Yeah, they've got Jimenez, who I think, did he come on in the last game? I think I don't know if he started the last game or come on. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but he's definitely like just come back ready for us. I thought, that's not ideal. But we've had these kind of diminutive strikers cause us problems lately. Jesus, Firmino. I would actually, weirdly, this could come back to bite me, but rather have a bit of a physical. Yes, come on, let's get up and against him. Whether that be Lloyd Kelly, whether that be Senesi, let's have a bit more of a battle.
Interesting. The referee's Anthony Taylor.
Don't like him.
Why?
I don't know.
Last time, we've had him twice in the 2019-20 season. Both games involved red cards being issued. One of them was at Crystal Palace. Can you remember who got sent off when we played them at Crystal Palace in that season?
Yeah, Sacco.
Yeah, it was.
Didn't we still lose?
Yeah, that was that. It was on Amazon.
It was the first game on Amazon.
Oh yeah, I remember.
1-0, they scored relatively late, but he got sent off early.
Yeah,
we were awful.
Yeah, and then again, it was against Aston Villa at Dean Court where we won 2-1. Do you remember who got sent off in that one?
Lerma, remember? Grealish, won it on Grealish? Yeah, and then but that felt like a really big win at the time, didn't it?
Huge win.
I remember the huddle on the pitch and that after. It was just before when all COVID came, wasn't it?
Little did we know that our winner, little did we know they would shaft us in other ways.
Yeah.
Okay then, so I think it's time to do the teams. Tom, are you ready?
Always.
Right then, here we go. There we go. There are you know what, mate? I don't know what formation we're playing, so I'm gonna let you somehow decide. Now that Gary O'Neill's in charge, I mean, who knows? But this is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm going to lean on Tigz a little bit for Bournemouth because I've been doing all right with the opposition, but I've been struggling with us at the moment. It's hard to get any consistency. I think, don't know if you agree, Tigz, but I think we're going to go back to a bit more like we did last season, 4-3-3.
I agree. I agree. Why not?
Yeah.
We're at home.
We're at home, and yeah, I think we're going to go 4-3-3.
And I don't think, Lloyd Kelly might be fit, but if he's not, do we want to play 3 centre halves
exactly.
if we haven't got 3 centre halves? It's just.
All right, so let's go through the team then. Travers in goal, I take it.
Yes, absolutely Travers in goal. He had a tough one as they all did, but I'm sure he'll bounce back and be fine.
Our fullbacks, I presume, will be unchanged.
Yeah, Adam Smith, he's got to be careful. If he gets one more yellow, he's suspended.
He's
been booked in every game. But yeah, he'll play. And Zamora had a tough time at Anfield as well, but I'm sure he'll bounce back as well. Centre half's a difficult one, isn't it? I think Mepham definitely plays as the right centre back. And then it's if Kelly's fit, he plays.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Tigz, but I think Kelly's going to play.
Yeah, me too.
I think we're going to just let Celestia out the firing line a little bit.
Nobody said it was a bad injury, did they? So we're just assuming. Because at the end of the day, we think he was in line to play that last game, so it was a niggle, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So I'm happy to go with that back four, mate, which looks all right to me.
So this is a 4-3-3 rather than a 4-2-3-1 then, mate. So who's your deep line midfielder? I'm guessing Lewis Cook?
Yeah, I want Lewis Cook in that role. I'm sure you agree, Tigz, that's his best role. Yeah. Get double pivot. I like him when he's just sat in front of that back four, gets the ball, and he can show his passing qualities and just play us out from there, really. So yeah, definitely Lewis, mate.
Okay, elsewhere in midfield, I mean, Jay Lerma's got to be one of them, right?
Yeah, he'll be to the right of him, Jefferson Lerma for sure. Give him a bit more of a license to just be that bit more box to box, bit more, that energy, putting out fires everywhere and just releasing the ball. So yeah, Lerma there. Going to make a change on the other side. See what you think, Tigz. I think Billing's going to come back in.
I completely agree. I was thinking exactly the same thing.
And I'm hoping he can, with obviously Lerma being able to sit deeper if needed, I'm hoping he can get closer to our front man. I was surprised when we went to Liverpool and we had Kiefer up front, he didn't play Billing because I thought Billing gets closer to the striker and that's what we need if you're playing one up. So I think Billing will come back in.
Okay, and as far as I'm concerned, apart from say either Solanke or Moore, you've then got 2 positions left with maybe 3 players that could fill them.
Yeah,
you have.
So it depends which ones you want to go for.
I think Christie will play off the right.
Yeah.
He did well against Norwich, to be fair, on that side.
Very good, yeah. But I think he plays on that. He gives you a lot of off the ball stuff as well. Yeah. This is a tough one for me because you either go for that back to base, that link up of Jay-Z and Anthony and try all that again, or you stick with Tavernier. I personally think it might be Tavernier, and my thinking behind that is there's a bit more flexibility in terms of Tavernier and Christie are also quite capable of coming narrower, allowing your fullbacks to bomb on, and you can tighten it up in the middle of the pitch if you need to. With Anthony, he's quite one-dimensional as he is a winger.
Yeah.
And I think we might start like that, but it wouldn't shock me or disappoint me if Anthony was in, for example.
And then, will he be fit? We hope so, but what, Dom?
Yeah, I think Moore might come out. And he'll go with Dom. I mean, if he's not fit, then why did he bloody come on at 5-0? So, yeah, I think it's going to be Dom. And yeah, I think Keith's played a lot of football. I think he'll come out for this one and be a bit more of a plan B. So I quite like the look of that team, actually.
It's not dissimilar to the team that served us well last season. There's only one actual change from that team, pretty much, well, 2. But yeah, so I like the look of it too, and I think it means that we're on the front foot, we're at home, good atmosphere. Let's give it a good go. Come on.
And I think a manager comes in, obviously because of the change of manager, obviously we haven't gone. I think they tend to, and I would as well, if you come in that short term, you go back to basics a little bit and go, right, what do we know?
Yeah.
Because let's not muck around too much here.
It's the Woodgate approach, isn't it?
Exactly. So yeah, I'd be more than happy with that team. But as I say, if there's a few little bits and bobs that change, I wouldn't be too worried.
Let's do Wolves then. Formation-wise, mate, how are we gonna put them? Is this a 4-3-3?
Yeah, pretty much a 4-3-3, mate.
Okay.
I would have thought so. They used to play that 3 at the back. Since Conor Cody's gone, they've kind of gone with a pretty flat 4-3-3. Obviously, there's flexibility within that, but that seems to be how they're going now under Lage.
Okay, right. Let's go through your side then. Who you go for?
Jose Sarr in goal. Bloody good goalkeeper, by the way. Really good goalkeeper. He'll start in goal. Back 4, I think it'll be Semedo at right back, who done really well actually. And, St. Maximin, I think he got booked really early, Semedo, and then he managed to keep his head and do well. Played at Barcelona. He's a good right back. And then centre half will be Collins, being a new signing, quite a lot of money actually from Burnley, but he's been really solid. And Kilman as well, who's a good young centre half, who's probably not too far away from knocking on an England cap. He's doing really well for him. Left back, they've got a few options. I think they'll go Johnny, and he seems to be playing there most of the time. So I think that'll be their back 4, mate.
I'll tell you, we talk about changes in terms of transfers out of the defence, but you still look at that and you think, that is solid still.
Solid, yeah. And you think of some players that are not in that team, and like you say, ones that have gone, they are a tough nut to crack,
That is mad.
And then you go straight into that middle player, and you go Ruben Neves, and that's a hell of a player. What a goal he scored against Newcastle. I don't know if you've seen it, when they cut the ball out to him, you just hear all the Wolves fans going, shoot, and then just bang it straight in. He's got a hell of a strike on him. So yeah, he'll be in the middle. I think to the right side will be Nunes, the new signing. Starting to bed him in, looks like a good player. I'm going to actually make a change like left side. They played Matinho in the last game, but I think he's 35 now at least. So I think they might rotate with it being a midweek game, and I think Dendonka might come in.
Right.
Them two seem to be rotating a little bit in that middle, so I think he might come in for this one.
Up front then?
And also on the right hand side, they've been playing Guedes, the new signing, but I think they might rotate back to Podence off that right side. He's a tricky player, flair player. I think he might play off that side. And then someone that I think you might have in your FPL team, mate, or you did at the start. Neto off the left side.
I think I got rid of him. I think
he was quite a good cheap option in midfield because he can score goals, but he hasn't hit the ground running yet. But he's still a dangerous player. Linked with Arsenal recently, actually. So if he's not playing, then you'll know why, because he's quite key to him. And as we mentioned earlier, Jimenez is back. He's their focal point. And they'll try and get the ball up to him and play off him, really. So
do they go out wide with those men, Tom, or are they more likely to come in?
Yeah, Neto and Podence are probably two of them kind of inside wide forwards that can easily switch sides and stuff like that. So they'll be really flexible. They're real flair players, to be fair. But that midfield three can kind of do a bit of everything. I wouldn't say any of them are like real defensive or real attack. They can kind of do a bit of everything. So they do have a nice balance to their team, and they got people like Adama Traore they can bring off the bench, and obviously Guedes the new signing. So it's a good side. It's a good side.
So the dynamic is definitely changed between our original preview and this one. Look, if you're a Bournemouth fan and you're watching today, we cannot emphasise enough how important your part can be in trying to get the team over the line today. Just sing loud and proud, because we can make that a cauldron still, and you know what, we may have a lack of songs, but we won't have a lack of passion, will we? And we're up against it somewhat, but I don't know, I feel as though this could be the kickstart that we actually need. Not having a manager, and you know what, having a new name in. There have been names we've been linked with already. Be interesting to see how that transpires. Of course, busy few days ahead, transfer deadline day, and then new manager maybe after that. It's gonna be really interesting, but gonna be an interesting game. Prediction wise, Tigz, have you got anything that you're feeling, you're sensing?
Do you know what? I'm just Tom's terrified me a little bit there with the team selection for Wolves. So I'm going to go with a 1-1. Yeah. I'd take a 1-1 because I'd love to see us kind of just score a goal. Yeah, really, and just
shot would be nice.
Yeah, shot would be nice, and just have a bit of fight as well. And I think we will have that. I really think we will have that, as long as we don't concede too early.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm kind of a similar mindset. I think when before the announcement with the manager, I was thinking, I was more hopeful that we'd get something, but worried that we'd probably get nicked. I've changed a little bit, and I think we might nick it 1-0.
Oh, I was going to say that same thing. I'm going the same 1.
Nice. I think we might nick it. I think there'll be that siege mentality, as we mentioned. The crowd will be on it. I was worried that we could see an early goal that will get a bit toxic in there. I think everyone will be just trying to get the boys over the line, and I think the players will have a little bit more about them and just fight for everything under the lights. Yeah, but it wouldn't shock me if we draw as well. So it's really on a knife edge, this one for me.
Interesting times, yeah. Well, so we can't wait. Remember, it's a 7:30 kickoff, so it's a little bit earlier than usual. And look, like I say, if you're looking for a pre-match pint or some food, then come to the Cricketers as well. It's good for home and away fans. Only 10 minutes to the ground, so yeah, you can't really go wrong. It's been I think I've used this word about 5 million times over the last 24 hours. Tumultuous.
Yeah, you like that word?
I love that word. It's
Sam's word of the week.
Roller coaster, but no, it's been interesting. But we're not feeling deflated. We're not feeling upset.
It feels very different to the last time that we had a manager sacked, or a manager left, even, or the last 2 times in actual fact.
I think there's not that emotional tie this time, is there?
No, there isn't. And I think let's think about this retrospectively. This is about long-term thinking, and he does not fit with our long-term thinking, and we don't fit with his. So it's okay.
Yeah, I think you made a good point off air, Tigz. I think if you want to put it in black and white terms, would you rather Scott Parker at your football club or Maxim Denham?
There we go.
I know what I would want. So let's move forward now. And again, I'm not, whatever people think I believed, and I think it's been hard sometimes to bite my tongue because I've never been a massive fan of Scott. Thanks for promotion, but onwards and upwards now. Let's get that belief back, and let's get together, because together anything's possible, mate. Together anything is possible. Look, have a good day. Make sure you leave in plenty of time for the match, and we'll see you at Dean Court. Come on the free for all, because Tigz wants to chat to you.
Yes.
Until then, have the cheers.
Cheers.